What's up, rugby fans, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you never miss any of our latest rugby content. And if you're enjoying what you see today, don't forget to smash that like button and share this video with your fellow rugby enthusiasts. Your support means everything to us and helps us bring you more incredible stories from the world of rugby. Now, let's dive into today's topic because we've got something truly special to talk about. Today we're discussing one of the most remarkable stories in modern rugby, a story that goes far beyond statistics and achievements, a story that speaks to the very heart of what it means to wear the green and gold. We're talking about Kolisi, the Springboks captain who is about to reach a massive milestone, his 100th Test appearance for South Africa. This is not just another number, not just another game. This represents a journey that few could have imagined when a young boy from the townships of Port Elizabeth first picked up a rugby ball. When Rassie Erasmus speaks about Kolisi, there's a tone in his voice that goes beyond typical coach speak. Erasmus has worked with some of the greatest players in rugby history, but when he describes Kolisi, he uses words like humble, consistent, and irreplaceable. The Springboks head coach has made it clear that Kolisi's importance to the team cannot be measured simply by tackles made or lineouts won. It's about something deeper, something that permeates through the entire squad and influences every aspect of how the Springboks approach the game. Erasmus recently spoke about what makes Kolisi so special, and his words paint a picture of a player who has never forgotten where he came from, who has never let success change his core values. The coach emphasized that Kolisi understands what it means to represent South Africa, not just as a rugby player, but as a symbol of hope and possibility for millions of people. This understanding, this awareness of the weight of the jersey, is what sets him apart from so many others who have worn it. The story of Kolisi is one that resonates far beyond the rugby pitch. Growing up in the impoverished township of Zwide in Port Elizabeth, Kolisi faced challenges that would have broken most people. His childhood was marked by hardship, by circumstances that statistics suggest should have led to a very different outcome. He grew up in a home without many of the basic necessities that most take for granted. Food was often scarce, opportunities were limited, and the path forward seemed unclear at best. Then tragedy struck when Kolisi lost his mother during his teenage years, a devastating blow that could have derailed everything. But instead of giving up, instead of letting circumstances define his future, Kolisi channeled his grief and his determination into rugby. The sport became not just a passion but a lifeline, a way out, a means to create a better life, not only for himself, but for his family and community. What makes Kolisi's rise even more remarkable is the consistency with which he has performed and led, despite carrying the weight of expectation that comes with being a trailblazer. When he was named captain of the Springboks in 2018, he became the first black player to hold that position in the team's long history. The significance of this moment cannot be overstated. In a country still grappling with the legacies of apartheid, in a sport that had historically been dominated by white players, Kolisi's appointment represented a turning point, a statement about who South Africa is and who it aspires to be. But Kolisi has never let the magnitude of that moment overwhelm him or change who he is at his core. His teammates consistently speak about his character, about how he treats everyone with the same respect, regardless of their status or experience. Veterans who have played alongside him for years talk about how he's remained exactly the same person he was when he first broke into the squad back in 2014. There's been no ego inflation, no sense of entitlement, no distancing himself from those around him. Newcomers to the Springbok squad often speak about how Kolisi goes out of his way to make them feel included, to help them settle in, to ensure they understand that they belong. In a high-pressure environment where competition for places is fierce and egos can easily clash, Kolisi has created a culture of brotherhood and mutual support. He leads not through grand speeches or theatrical gestures, but through quiet example, through the way he conducts himself day in and day out. His rugby journey is a testament to perseverance and talent combining in perfect harmony. Kolisi moved through the youth rugby systems, catching the eye of scouts who recognized his raw ability and his hunger to improve. His performances for provincial sides, particularly for the Stormers and Western Province, showcased a player who combined physicality with intelligence, who could dominate the breakdown while also making crucial defensive reads and offensive contributions. When he made his debut for the Springboks, it was clear that here was a player with something special, someone who belonged at the highest level. But even Kolisi himself might not have imagined the heights he would reach, the impact he would have, the legacy he would build. His rise through the ranks was steady rather than meteoric, built on consistent performances rather than flashes of brilliance, though those moments of brilliance certainly came when they mattered most. The captaincy brought new challenges and new scrutiny. Suddenly, every decision was analyzed, every performance was placed under the microscope, every word was dissected for meaning. But Kolisi handled it all with a grace that seemed to come naturally, even though the pressure must have been immense. He understood that his role extended beyond tactical decisions on the field, that he was representing something larger than himself or even the team. And then came the ultimate validation, the moment that cemented his place in rugby history. The 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan saw Kolisi lead the Springboks to glory, lifting the Webb Ellis Cup in Yokohama in a moment that transcended sport. The images of Kolisi holding that trophy aloft, tears streaming down his face, resonated around the world. Here was a man who had overcome so much, who had broken down barriers, who had proven that talent and determination know no boundaries. But even that triumph, even becoming a world champion and a global icon, didn't change Kolisi's fundamental nature. He returned to South Africa not as a celebrity demanding special treatment, but as a servant leader committed to using his platform for good. His charitable work, his advocacy for underprivileged communities, his willingness to speak openly about mental health and the challenges he's faced, all of this has made him more than just a rugby player. He's become a role model, an inspiration, a symbol of what's possible. Erasmus has often spoken about how Kolisi's work ethic sets the tone for the entire team. Despite his status, despite his achievements, Kolisi is often among the first to arrive at training and the last to leave. He doesn't take shortcuts, doesn't rely on past glories, doesn't assume that his place in the team is guaranteed. Every day he proves himself again, shows his teammates what commitment looks like, demonstrates that no one is above the hard work required to excel at this level. It's true that Kolisi's club form has had its ups and downs over the years. There have been periods where injuries have hampered him, where form has dipped, where questions have been raised about whether he's still at his peak. But what's remarkable is how he's responded to these challenges, how he's used criticism as motivation, how he's fought his way back every single time. And at the international level, when wearing the Springbok jersey, Kolisi has consistently delivered performances that justify his selection and his leadership role. His understanding of the game has deepened over the years. Where once he relied primarily on his physical attributes and his natural instincts, he now combines those qualities with tactical acumen and strategic thinking. He reads the game better than almost anyone, anticipates opposition moves, positions himself perfectly to make crucial interventions. His communication on the field is constant, organizing defensive lines, calling out patterns, ensuring everyone knows their role. But perhaps what's most impressive about Kolisi is his humility in the face of all this success. He genuinely seems to view his achievements not as personal triumphs, but as opportunities to inspire others, to show young people from similar backgrounds that their circumstances don't have to define their futures. He speaks often about the responsibility that comes with his platform, about the importance of giving back, about never forgetting where he came from. His teammates describe playing alongside him as both an honor and a challenge. It's an honor because they recognize they're witnessing greatness, they're part of something special, they're sharing the field with a legend in the making. But it's also a challenge because Kolisi's standards are so high, because he demands excellence not just from himself, but from everyone around him, because he leads by example in a way that makes it impossible to give anything less than your absolute best. The bond between Kolisi and Erasmus is particularly special. The coach has been instrumental in Kolisi's development as a leader, providing guidance and support, while also giving him the freedom to lead in his own authentic way. Erasmus trusts Kolisi implicitly, values his input on team selection and tactics, respects his judgment about player welfare and squad morale. This partnership between coach and captain has been fundamental to the Springboks' success in recent years. As Kolisi approaches his 100th Test match, there's a sense that this milestone represents more than just longevity. It represents sustained excellence. It represents leadership through challenging times. It represents the embodiment of South African rugby's transformation. Each of those 99 matches has added another chapter to his remarkable story, and the 100th will be celebrated not just by Springboks fans, but by rugby lovers everywhere who appreciate what he represents. The impact Kolisi has had on South African rugby extends beyond the professional ranks. His story has inspired countless young players, particularly those from disadvantaged backgrounds who see in him proof that the path to success exists if you're willing to work for it. Rugby clubs in townships across South Africa now buzz with young players who dream of following in Kolisi's footsteps, who see him as evidence that their dreams are achievable. Erasmus has made it clear that as long as Kolisi is fit and available, he will be central to Springbok's plans. The coach values not just what Kolisi brings on the field, but the intangible qualities he provides, the leadership that cannot be coached, the presence that settles and inspires those around him. In crucial moments, when games hang in the balance, Erasmus knows he can look to his captain and trust that the right decisions will be made, that the team will be galvanized, that they will find a way. The respect Kolisi commands from opponents is equally telling. Players from rival nations speak about him with admiration, acknowledging not just his abilities, but his sportsmanship, his respect for the game, his dignity in victory and defeat. He plays hard but fair, competes fiercely but cleanly, celebrates success without arrogance, and accepts setbacks without excuses. This is the mark of a true champion, someone who understands that how you conduct yourself matters as much as the results you achieve. Looking ahead, the question becomes not just about reaching 100 caps, but about how many more Kolisi can add to that tally. His body has taken punishment over the years, the physical demands of playing in one of rugby's most demanding positions taking their toll. But his commitment to fitness, his attention to recovery, his willingness to adapt his game as he's gotten older, all suggest that he has more to give. The Springboks will need his leadership as they build toward future World Cups, as they navigate the competitive landscape of international rugby, as they continue to evolve and adapt. What's certain is that when Kolisi does eventually hang up his boots, his legacy will be secure. He will be remembered as one of the great Springboks, certainly, but also as something more. As a transformative figure who changed what was possible, who opened doors, who showed that rugby in South Africa could be truly representative of the nation's diversity. Future generations will look back at this era and recognize Kolisi as a pivotal figure, someone who helped reshape the sport's identity in his country. But for now, the focus is on that 100th cap, on celebrating a remarkable milestone, on acknowledging all that Kolisi has achieved and all that he represents. Rassie Erasmus will no doubt have special words for his captain when the moment arrives, words that capture the gratitude and respect felt throughout South African rugby. The crowd will roar their appreciation, understanding that they're witnessing history, that they're honoring someone truly special. Kolisi's importance to the Springboks cannot be quantified simply through statistics or achievements. Yes, he's a world-class player who has performed at the highest level for years. Yes, he's a world champion who has proven himself in the biggest moments. But his true value lies in his character, in his leadership, in his embodiment of values that transcend rugby. He has shown that humility and greatness can coexist, that success doesn't require you to forget your roots, that leading from the front means putting the team above yourself. As we celebrate this massive milestone, as we reflect on everything Kolisi has accomplished, we're reminded why sport matters, why it can be about so much more than just games and scores. Kolisi's story is about overcoming adversity, about breaking down barriers, about inspiring others, about leading with integrity and purpose. It's a story that will continue to resonate long after he's played his final match. A story that will inspire future generations of rugby players and leaders. So there you have it. Rugby fans, the story of why Kolisi is so important to the Springboks, why his 100th Test appearance is such a significant milestone, why Rassie Erasmus and his teammates hold him in such high regard. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this with anyone who needs to hear this incredible story. Drop a comment below with your favorite Kolisi moment or what his leadership means to you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.